What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to another episode of Boys Talkin Ball. My name is AJ Forbes, and I am with Noah Ambuel and Dalton Lee. Today is a very special day. Some people say
A couple of
that
people they're saying, wow, there's an election going on. And I said, the Mac is playing tonight. It's a Tuesday.
some people are saying that this is the biggest day in American
They're
history,
trading the corners. They're trading the ends.
and we're not talking about the election. We're
No,
talking about the trade deadline.
You think in Trump's war room they don't have the multi-view of action going on right now?
you
There's
would love to
no
think so.
there's no way it's not. Elon and Trump are watching Maction right now.
Hell yeah. Oh, so today was the trade deadline. It was earlier this afternoon. There was a lot of trades that happened last week that were considered blockbuster, I suppose. We talked about Ken Robinson to Minnesota last week, and then we talked about DeAndre Hopkins being on the trade block. He eventually ended up going to Kansas City. Had a great game last night. Actually, he's been proven to be the missing piece that Kansas City has needed over the past couple weeks. I wanted to first talk about the biggest splashes made at the deadline. For me, anyway, it was Marshawn Lattimore going to the Commanders for a third, fourth, and sixth. All right, so Marshawn Lattimore, he's been dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury this year. Hasn't played great, really, in the last couple of years. But he's still a Pro Bowl corner, and he's been playing well over the course of his career. Just been dealing with some injuries, but Commanders gave up uh, that, like I said, that third, fourth, and sixth to New Orleans. That's a pretty good haul. I mean, if I was the Saints and you were going to give up a guy like that, that's a pretty good haul, in my opinion.
I think that's not a bad haul at all.
That's pretty good.
No.
There,
As a
there was
guy
a,
as a guy that's kind of somewhat fading in his career a little bit, I think that's a good haul.
yeah,
It's the
there
fun thing
was
with corners in my brain. Like, if a corner's good once, it is the position that you cannot be like the best corner in the NFL for more than like a year or two. But if a corner's good once, and I know that like they're a good Pro Bowl corner. In my mind, they will always be good. I haven't seen Marshawn Lattimore play in years, but my brain's like, damn, this is a good signing because he was good once.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's not a guy that's going to go get you eight, nine, 10 picks a year, but
No,
he's going to be a guy that quarterbacks will stay away from.
that's
He's
all.
got
That's all I want out of the corner position.
yeah, exactly. I mean, guys just don't throw his way. He's a great corner. Um,
Yeah, if you could take away half the field or quarter of the field, I'll take that
Yeah,
every day of the week.
Yeah,
all day.
there was a report that the Kansas City Chiefs were interested in him, and I as soon as I saw the trade compensation that the Saints got back for him, I was like, yeah, there's no way Kansas City was giving that up.
No,
Unless,
Kansas City with all their like cap space due to all the guys they have to sign because they're good. Like they need the draft pick so they can hit on some rookies and on the rookie deal and everything.
yep, exactly, exactly. So I mean, that was the biggest splash of the day for me. I was doing some research on the Commanders defense. Commanders have given up the sixth least passing yards per game, which was surprising because as I kept looking at it, they're middle of the pack on stopping teams on third down. So I think they really were looking for another corner to put opposite of St. Juice, who's been having a really good year so far. Um, but I think probably the biggest thing about this, besides the compensation and the fact that Washington got a really good corner, is the fact that the Saints basically ate his entire contract. so
That's what they
so
love doing.
they're in cap hell, man. They're trying to figure it out, but they can't get
I
out
don't
of it.
think you can.
That
You're
you
just in the
can't.
cap hell.
Yeah,
It's
they're
and the
in cap
problem
hell.
is you've
The
been
can got kicked down the road, and it's
We are
still
at the
there.
end of the road. We are at the end of the road.
I don't think you are. I think that
I don't
can
think
is
they are
still
either.
rolling.
I think that they can
Well,
still. I think they'll still find a way to kick the can.
And the
I mean,
biggest problem about it is you kick the can down the road trying to be good, and you have the head coach with the third worst winning percentage of all time
of all
in
time,
there, who went 26-52. How are you a coach that long? Like I just gosh,
man,
that franchise has not been the same since Sean Payton's been out of here.
not even close, man. Not even close. Yeah, Commanders based. They got a really good player for vet minimum, essentially, because the Saints restructured his contract
And the
earlier
other
this
thing
year.
is the Commanders have a ton of cap space as well going into next season where they're
Yes,
probably going to be able to re-sign him easily.
if they want to.
And
Yeah,
if they want to, obviously. And then,
yeah.
yeah, Commanders are in a really good situation at the moment. The next two
Mm.
games are going to tell a lot for how the rest of their season is going to go.
Yes.
But 7-2, who would have thought? Not me.
No. Yeah, and
Not
we're going
me.
to talk about that later on. We're
Yes.
going to talk about that later on. What else? Who else do you guys think was a big splash made at the deadline? There wasn't any huge blockbuster trades that happened today at the deadline that we feel like we build up to. But anyone else that caught your eye?
I think that the Cowboys with Jonathan Mingo was just a really good pick. Like this is a team that could have Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins right now, but Jerry Jones is going to Jerry Jones.
So now that you bring that up, Cowboys were catching a bunch of strays because Jared Jones earlier this morning he was teasing that they were going to trade for a wide receiver, and there was, I mean, Mike Williams was a guy that was on the table who also just got traded. There was, Deontay Johnson was on the trade block earlier this week. If you would have asked a million Cowboys fans, I don't think anyone would have thought that they were going to get Jonathan Mingo
Well, yeah, no, they're
today.
Cowboys fans. They're sitting there being like, Justin Jefferson's going to be in the star jersey soon.
Do they
They're
even know who
delusional.
they don't even know who Jonathan Mingo is? Let's be real. There's
No.
not many Cowboy fans are ball knowers. Let's just
And they
let's
look and
just
they're like, oh, he's never gotten over 500 yards.
So
oh
this is
gosh.
this is more of a rhetorical question, but if you were the Cowboys, would you have rather given up a fourth round pick for Jonathan Mingo or a fifth round pick for Mike Williams?
I would
Mike
have
Kind of
given
a rhetorical
Williams.
kind of a rhetorical question, but
to
I mean,
me,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I would have done the Mingo one because he's on a rookie deal, so he's cheaper and he's never had a real quarterback throw him a football. Not saying Dak is or Cooper Rush at this point, but
yeah.
it's like I don't know. I know Mike Williams isn't a big contract, but with the Cowboys, I don't know how much room they had if they could add him into that salary cap situation or not. Would be the only thing that I'd be like, okay, I'll lean Jonathan Mingo just because he's younger. You have no idea what he's going to be is the
Mm-hmm.
problem, and where
Mm-hmm.
Mike Williams, you kind of know exactly who he is.
Yep.
Um,
I'm excited to see what Mike Williams does because I was watching the Pat McAfee show earlier today, and Aaron Rodgers was talking about him, and he was singing some praises for Mike Williams, and I
I
think
could still believe in Mike Williams.
I
I could
do.
see
I mean, I
myself
do
believing in
too.
him.
I mean, sometimes you just need to change the scenery, man.
again,
Sometimes you just
you
need to
know,
change the scenery.
Again.
third
Again,
franchise
hey,
in the last 2 years.
yeah, go to you know what? And this was another thing that was brought up. Randy Moss, he needed to change the scenery a couple times. Ended up pretty good for your Patriots.
I will
Who
say though,
who
Randy
who
Moss
also
is
who
pretty.
also got who also
Okay,
got
okay.
traded
We
for a
can't
fourth
go
round
from
pick.
Jonathan Mingo and Mike Williams to Randy
No,
Moss.
no,
No, I agree. I was about to say it. Randy Moss was pretty good in Minnesota, if I remember right.
yeah, and then he didn't do a damn thing in a Raiders uniform. And he was
Wow,
he was he was basically untouchable on the trade market until good old Billy B decided he wanted to take a chance on him and give the Raiders a fourth round pick for a future Hall of Famer.
it is
He
kind of
had
By
a
no means,
crazy.
1,000 yard season with the Raiders.
did he?
Yeah.
Why? Why was he? I
Because
don't
he's
remember that.
I
because
thought he had a good year. I was right.
I don't
I feel
remember
like
that.
nobody remembers it because his
Because
I
it was
feel
the
like
Raiders.
and he just didn't have a great attitude about being at the Raiders because they weren't winning anything. It's just the
No.
Raiders.
His
But
okay, here it is. His first season in Oakland, he had 1,000 yards. That
And 8
second season,
touchdowns.
that second season in Oakland is probably where things started falling off because he had 500 yards. He caught less than half of his targets. He had 3 touchdowns. Probably didn't have a great attitude going into that one. But anyway, regardless, I am by no means comparing Randy Moss to Jonathan Mingo and Mike Williams. I'm just saying change of scenery sometimes probably pretty good. I'm rooting for Mike Williams. I like him.
I'm
I
not. He's
think
on the Cowboys. I hope he
they just,
sucks.
they just let he's not on the Cowboys. Mike Williams.
Oh, sorry. I was still thinking about Jonathan Mingo.
They just let
No, I hope
everybody.
Mike Williams does good. I've got a happy little spot in my heart for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and I couldn't tell you why.
The Cowboys are really letting just anybody wear that star anymore. It doesn't mean anything.
It's true.
Just throwing it on Jonathan Mingo. I do think my move I liked was Darius Smith to Detroit. He's one team away from completing the whole NFC North, I
He
believe.
is.
It's
He
gotta be a
And
is.
bear,
so,
right?
gotta be a bear.
Gotta be a
Gotta
bear.
be a bear. So I
Get
think
the
that
NFC North
naturally,
Infinity Stones.
exactly. I think naturally next year he's gonna be a bear. But no, I think that's a good one because that was their biggest area of need after Hutch went down. So
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah, and
think.
anytime you can get a good edge rusher, it's gonna help your team.
Yeah, I mean, I
100%.
think. I think that was the NFL's worst kept secret is the fact that the Lions were in a market for an edge rusher.
Well, yeah, they just watched Aiden Hutchinson's leg wrap around another guy. They were gonna
Ugh,
get one.
that injury was so gross.
Midseason award. We're going to start with the best of the best. Dalton, I'm going to start with you. Who is your midseason MVP?
So I'm not gonna lie. In my mind, I thought you said who we were guessing for MVP.
So I guess that's really what I mean.
Yeah, and
That's really what I
I'm
mean.
still gonna go with the same logic. I think this is the year for Josh Allen. I don't think he would win it right now, but I think he's going to.
Yeah,
But midseason, I also, gosh, my heart just wants to say Jared Goff.
yeah.
I don't think any of his stats are in the top five. I just want to
I mean,
say it, but it's
I
probably
mean,
Lamar.
uh, I mean. Okay, so you said three names right there. Okay,
Josh
so
Allen,
let's
final
let's
answer. I wish it could be Jared Goff.
okay.
Realistically, it's probably Lamar.
Okay, so let's talk about Josh Allen real quick. Like we've been talking about him the last couple of weeks. We've said that he's probably been playing the best ball of his career so far. I mean, what he is. I mean, the Bills are 7-2 right now, so I mean that bodes well for MVP voting. And
Always.
then what? And then what? He's at 17 touchdown passes, two
Two.
Yeah.
interceptions, something
Yeah.
like that. Is
Which
that, is
two
that
interceptions when you're Josh Allen is
that's
a
what I'm talking about.
stellar year. Yeah, no,
That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking.
that's always been his problem, and he's flipped it this year.
Exactly, and I love that he hasn't ran the ball as much as he has in the past, but he also hasn't needed to.
He also has a running
Um,
back now.
he also has a really good running back in James Cook. So, no, I was going through my head and I was thinking about Josh Allen, but like you said, uh, for me, it's Lamar Jackson.
I
We
wouldn't be terribly. I wouldn't hate to say that maybe I'd give it to Derrick Henry.
see, yeah, man, I with Derrick Henry, when you look at all of the categories that he's leading right now. Well, he's first in rushing. He's the only back in the he's the only person in the NFL with 1,000 rushing yards. He's
Yeah,
leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Before this week's slated games, he was leading the league in yards per carry. He had the triple crown. So he was like the first person since
Derrick Henry.
Jim. He was like the first person since Jim Brown in like '67 to lead the league in carries, yards, touchdowns, and yards per carry. I mean, that's an insane season. That's insane. I do think that he deserves to be in some more MVP conversations, but as we all know, the MVP is a quarterback award,
Oh,
unfortunately.
100%. And I think I might have done the same thing as Noah here to where I was like double checking all the stats to make sure my brain was in the right place. And I just kept seeing that Lamar Jackson at the top every time I checked something. I just didn't want to say it, but
I know. I know. And like with Lamar Jackson, he's doing what Josh Allen is doing, but he's doing it better. And he's being more
yeah.
productive. He has 20 he's 20 touchdown passes, two interceptions. I think he leads the league in percentage of throws being a touchdown, which is insane. Especially in that system.
Well, it
Uh,
helps when you throw it 15 times a game, but whatever.
Does. Just 15 little dink balls 10-yard down the field.
I mean,
15 touch passes.
when you throw 15, if you throw 15 passes and three of them are touchdowns, who cares? First of all.
I
Uh
do. I do.
Lamar haters do.
Well, let me. I know you guys are looking at the notes right here, but he also has the third most passing yards in the league. So
Okay. Here's the thing. If we're not going to give Tom
here we
Brady
go.
MVPs in the past for how good he was and give him multiple in a row, why are we giving it to Lamar Jackson? This is what frustrates me. This is why I think Josh Allen will win it because they hate giving it to guys back to back. But if they're going to give it to somebody back to back, it's going to be Lamar Like they give everything to that guy for somebody that hasn't won anything. They give him everything. I just hate it so much. Gosh, I mean, we could. I just can't stand it. The guy barely throws the football. I want a gunslinger to win this award. Josh Allen deserves to win this award. He runs better than Lamar can. He throws it better than Lamar. He's got worse receivers than Lamar, and he's making more of it. Ah,
What?
exactly. I am. There is no way. There is no way you can give Lamar 3 already, and he's gonna be tied with like Peyton Manning and Brady for the most MVP awards. That is craziness.
So,
Absolute craziness.
so that gets into a bigger question. Do we need to talk about voter fatigue, and do we need to talk about what voters think about a player's legacy when doing these votes? How much of a factor do you think that plays?
I think voter fatigue you can see in every league across the board is very real.
Yes,
Like
for,
Oh,
for sure.
100%.
again, LeBron could have won 10 MVPs in a row and nobody would have batted an eye. You could
Yes,
probably argue the same with Brady and Peyton. They could have alternated every year and nobody would have batted an eye. Like
yes.
I think that is the voter fatigue thing is so real and I
So
hate
what
it.
about
I
so what
think you
about
should change
legacy?
voters every year. There shouldn't be a guy voting twice in a row because that's the only way to solve the problem.
So
But
you think
legacy,
so you think the same you think there should be a different batch of voters every year.
like let's rotate like that's the only way to like not have the voter fatigue. I feel like if you get different people in the room voting, like if you have the same, it's like the AP, like not to throw shade, but Tone Diggs on the Pat McAfee show has an AP vote this year.
Yeah.
Like love the guy to death, but it's just like we kind of like I don't know. I just you hand those out to everybody, and they just AP voters are lazy. They just look at the top of the leaderboard and they pick the guy. Like I don't like it. They don't watch the games. It feels like it's just annoying.
So are you saying
Or
we
player
need
vote it. Or player vote it.
I
Maybe
okay.
player vote.
That is something that I have thought about for a long time. I think if there's anybody in a sport that knows who the real best football player or the real best player is in their sport, it is the players. It is. I mean, because you look at, I mean, I was thinking about it. Like in my career, I can give you a list of names of the top 5 players I've gone up against, and some of those guys didn't even get like an all conference award, which is insane. You know, so but it's like I agree. It's like when we look at the NFL top 100 list, how that's all made up of player votes. Like you think Trent Williams is gonna crack the top 8 of that list if it was just AP votes? No, absolutely not.
No.
But Trent Williams is a top 10, arguably top 5 football player in the world. But people in the media aren't going to recognize that. They're going to see that he goes in motion on a play and he's going to be like, "Oh, look at this." But they're going to give every skill player, every quarterback, every edge rusher the vote over him. So I
Well,
agree.
yeah,
I
they'll
think I
never respect the guy whose best job was just not letting someone touch the quarterback. It's not flashy enough for him.
that it's exactly.
Even
So
though
I, I
it's
do
just
I
so
do
important.
agree. I would be very interested to see what a player vote would look like with all these awards. All of them. MVP, offensive defensive player of the year, I think coach of the year would be super interesting if you had the coaches vote on coach of the year.
Dan
I think
Campbell
that
would
is
win it
super
every year.
interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm having fatigue of Lamar as well. That could be
And you
true.
probably, I mean, you are on record of being adamantly opposed
Certified
to
Lamar hater.
Lamar. Certified Lamar hater is what you are,
That's
which is
true too.
okay. Which is
That's true
okay.
too.
Which is okay.
I do think it's great. Like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. He brings a different element to the game than most quarterbacks have in the past. I get that. I don't know. I think in my mind, the football I've watched, Josh Allen has looked like the best player in the NFL this year. And I just think that he needs to be rewarded for that. Just because he doesn't rush for 1,000 yards doesn't mean that he's not better than the guy. I don't
No,
like
I
it.
agree. I agree. I mean, and there were a couple games. There was at least one game this year where he was like 9 for 20, and I think
Well, he
that
was
was the game.
concussed.
I was gonna say that was the game he got knocked out. So I mean, I'm not gonna put that all on him, but I will say
They
that
are odds wise. even at plus 300. Both are plus 300
Are
betting
they?
odds wise. Dead even
Are
between
they?
the two.
So I what's really cool to see is that both of them are playing extremely efficient football, uh, which for which for freak athletes and for Josh Allen, especially as a gunslinger, I wouldn't necessarily call Lamar Jackson a gunslinger, but Josh Allen for sure is a gunslinger. Being efficient while also having that ability to make insane plays is what makes those two probably the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And I do want to give Jared Goff his flowers. I do want to give Jared Goff his flowers because nobody is doing their job as well as he is right now. He's doing exactly what the Lions are asking him to do, and he's doing it extremely well. So I do want to give him his flowers.
I imagine if Jared Goff was just like your regular working man, he's wearing a vest, he's at a stand-up desk, he's got an AirPod in, he's putting in the work and he's doing what he has to do,
And he's
just in
early
an
every day, and
efficient rate.
he's early every day, and he's probably working late most days.
100%.
And he's the vibes guy. He's inviting all the people to happy hour.
Yep.
He's the heartbeat of that office. You know, he's in a
Yeah.
business world.
Just
Gotta love a
keeping
guy
everything
like that.
running.
Just absolutely.
Speaking of keeping everything running, for offensive player of the year, for me, it's going to be Derrick Henry. We just talked about it. We just talked about it. Derrick Henry probably will not get the MVP recognition.
I had Saquon typed out, and I looked at Derrick Henry's name. I looked back at Saquon's name. I deleted Saquon's name as Derrick Henry.
Saquon's the honorable mention, but yeah, we're halfway through the season. He has 6 games left, where he's already over 1,000. Are we on 2K watch again?
I think
I've been seeing whispers of 2K watch.
Just like I don't want to jinx it or anything, but we could be on the watch.
We could be,
which is exciting.
Guy doing it twice would be awesome.
Really
that
cool.
would be cool.
Oh, we could all be 60 telling people that they've never seen a running back like Derrick Henry in their life. You hear all these old heads talking about Jim Brown. They never even watched a game. We'll be sitting there being like, El Tractorio used to just run over teams every week.
Yeah, there's never been a guy that's rushed for 2,000 yards twice, huh?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No?
I think there's been a couple guys that have hit 1,800 twice. I think Emmitt Smith did it twice, if I'm not mistaken. Don't fact check me on that.
Probably.
But
if he hits 2K, does that throw him into the MVP race all of a sudden? Or do you think that's only going to be
because they didn't give it to him last year, especially if the Ravens are still doing what they're doing. I give it to him.
Yes.
That's the other argument against Lamar. He's got another MVP type player on his team. Just saying.
People are saying
Allen got? What's Josh Allen got? Just
Khalil Shakir.
I can see that argument.
The power of friendship.
Shakir.
He's got the power. He's got the power of friendship.
The power of friendship and just completely owning the dog.
Just you and your boys getting in a huddle like it's the playground and going and just getting that ball down the field.
Yeah. I mean, he had his MVP moment on that touchdown pass where at the 1 yard line when he just looked like he was going to die and slipped it over into the tight end's hands.
I mean, the fact that he's able to get that ball off and throw a touchdown at the same time is insane.
That's crazy.
People don't understand how freakish that is. Genuinely.
Exactly. But if Lamar Jackson did, Twitter would be broken.
So are we all on the same page that Derrick Henry, especially if he keeps his pace, he's offensive player of the year? Yeah.
Shout out Saquon, but it's Derrick Henry.
So this is where it can get pretty interesting with the defensive player of the year. Noah, I'm going to start with you. We got a lot of options. What are we thinking?
I wanted to go chalk and just say TJ Watt, but that's just not like me. And so I'm going with a guy that you see a lot of his games, always a problem. I'm going with Chris Jones. That guy is a absolute disruption. Every game you watch of his, he is a problem. Probably doesn't have the stats that everybody else has, but it's hard when you're getting double teamed every play and you're still causing issues to do that. I think he's a respectable candidate in that conversation.
For sure. And as you should be.
Yeah, it's hard not to go with TJ Watt.
Noah, what you got?
Well, I would write TJ Watt down, but I will have to say Fred Warner.
That's also another.
And I got some gripe with one of your notes. It says league leader in forced fumbles. Fred Warner's tied for that number, sir. How many pick sixes TJ Watt have? 0. Fred Warner, it's one of those things too where like, don't get me wrong, he was up here at the beginning of the year, and he's kind of like when you don't do something crazy every game, you kind of feel like you go down.
I mean,
That guy does so much.
yeah, as a linebacker, I don't know how many times you're able to do the insane play every week, but he usually finds a way to do it.
No, that guy just does so much on the football field. I think he has
Yeah,
like 6 pass deflections this year.
yeah, he's an insane football player. So what I had written down, I have right here. I'm looking at it. It's T.J. Watt dot dot dot. Really want to say Dexter Lawrence though. Dexter Lawrence is having a hell of a year. We talked about it last week, I think, actually, that he was leading the league in sacks for the entire year up until last week. I think someone jumped him. He's at 9 right now. Someone has 11, I think. But keep in mind, he is an interior defensive lineman, and we talked about it last week. He is holding that Giants defense together by himself. The fact that he's able to accumulate 9 sacks as an interior defensive lineman while also being he's getting the Chris Jones treatment like you were talking about. No, he's getting double and triple. I've seen him triple teamed a couple times with the tight end. So I mean, he's getting an insane amount of attention, and he's still producing on the field.
I just
So
have so much respect for a guy that is just wrecking games when he's a D tackle.
absolutely, I agree. And like the only guys that we have seen in the past, I don't know, 5 years be in that category or Aaron Donald, obviously, number one. Chris Jones, he's been used as an interior defensive lineman, but they bounce him in and out at defensive
Oh
end.
yeah,
And then Dexter Lawrence, all of a sudden, he's coming in and he's having this monster season. He's always had the respect around the league of how dominant he is on the inside, but now he's starting to accumulate the production on top of it. So I have TJ Watt written down. Dude's a game record. He has 6.5 sacks. Part of that is because he's getting chipped all the time. He's getting double teamed. He's rushing from the edge. It's harder for him to get the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Tied for the league lead in forced fumbles. Dalton, you're welcome.
thank you.
But I really do want to say Dexter Lawrence. I really do. I don't think he's gonna get it because the Giants aren't very good. And usually award winners do not come from teams that don't win. So I think it's gonna be TJ Watt. But I really want to give Dexter Lawrence his flowers for what he's doing this year.
That D line at the Giants is very underrated.
Very. I think
You
think
brought it
I
up
said
last week. You
Yeah,
brought it up last week.
I think that is literally the only thing that's keeping this team afloat.
yeah.
If
I
you
think
call
that
the Giants afloat.
And
the
Daniel Jones just running the football.
Yeah, Daniel Lawrence getting it
He
together.
he was gonna be my we were doing offensive player of the week. His first half was gonna be my offensive player of the week.
That is the best stat line. I was telling everyone I
ever,
possibly could. I was like,
ever.
guys, he is 4 for 4 with 0 yards right now and a
And a
touchdown.
touchdown.
It is
He
the
ended-
greatest thing.
He ended the first half 4 for 6 with the touchdown and 0 yards.
Like we went to breakfast. I was talking about it at breakfast. We were driving back from breakfast. I'm still in the car. I'm like, guys, I don't think you realize what Daniel Jones is cooking right now.
No, that was an insane stat line.
Shout out Daniel Jones, Duke product.
Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence make a weekly appearance on this show, and,
And
and,
will forever.
and we it's not like we make it a point to do so. It just happens.
Oh yeah,
Giants-
it'll be
the
the off
Giants-
season, and we'll still be talking about it.
The Giants come up a little bit more than you would think in this podcast.
It's almost weekly,
At
genuinely.
this point. Well, they've been playing a lot of primetime games for some reason
They
too,
have
so that's
been.
helped the
They
cause,
have been.
but
It happened.
it's
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. Kind of funny.
All right. Next up, so all I have on here is rookie of the year. We can split it up into offensive and defensive rookie of the year if we really want to, but
I don't have a
Does it-
defensive one written down.
I don't know.
I-
Do we?
I'll tell you what, it was hard for me to find a defensive one. I could barely name a guy, and that's hands up. That's on me.
I mean, so do we have any arguments against Jin Daniels for
Yeah.
offensive rookie of the year?
Yeah, I think I do.
Do you?
Noah, you go first.
Okay,
let's
my
hear it.
rookie of the year is Drake May if he played every game this season.
We're
you
working
know
with
that-
hypotheticals on
Exactly. But no, probably Jaden Daniels. But if you add 2 games to what Drake May's been doing. They have the same amount of touchdowns with 0 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter. So both clutch.
Post clutch.
Drake May is just working with what he's got over there. He doesn't got Cliff Kingsbury in his ear, telling him what to do all the time. It's just, big Drake May fan. If Malik Neighbors didn't get knocked out for 2 games, I probably would say him because he's had a great year so far. But he got knocked out for 2 games.
Malik Neighbors has been, and it's just like the MVP award, right? The premium is on the quarterback position. So if there's a quarterback who's playing very well and a receiver who's also playing very well, more than likely it's going to end up going to the quarterback, especially if that quarterback is winning. But like you said, Malik Neighbors is having a very good season, and he would probably. I don't know what the odds are on this, but his odds would probably be better if he didn't get concussed and miss 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, and if you didn't have Daniel Jones as quarterback, probably would help a little bit, but he's working with what he's got.
So I'm looking at the defensive rookie of the year odds, and the favorite is Jared Verse, the defensive end
Rams
for
guy?
the Rams. Yeah,
That Rams team's coming together.
that Rams team is coming together. They're looking.
We'll talk about that later.
What about that Colts guy, the UCLA guy? Is he up there?
Latu, yeah, he's second.
Yeah. See how I didn't even attempt to say his name?
Oh, I know who Dalton's rookie of the year is. Never mind.
Who?
I have it on good authority. It's probably Bo Nix.
No, he was up there. And
Is it who I think it is? Is it? I have an idea.
Let's hear it.
No. This is one that'll never happen. This goes back to the position that he plays.
Yes.
There's a guy playing right guard for the 49ers down there. Dominic Puny has been guys, he's been so good this season. The interior line for the 49ers has always just been kind of, it's always been tough. But this guy we just come in, he comes to town, we throw him at right guard. He hasn't let up a sack. Offensive linemen, you can't even find how many pressures they've let up on Pro Football Reference, but I know it's not a lot. He has been so good. This guy, you're going to hear his name. If people ever decide to talk about right guards, you're going to be hearing Dominic Puny for a long time. He's going to be generational. He's going to be great. Just a gem. But Jay Daniels will win the award.
I can't. I thought you were going Brock Bowers, which I would have been fully about.
Oh, Brock Bowers is another really good one. That is a really good pick.
Again, tight end, like a tight end's never going to win that award, but he's been the best tight end of football this year, you could argue.
Yeah.
Like he's been unbelievable. So also, defensive-wise, shout out Cooper DeJean. Throw him on there. Give him the award.
He deserves it.
I can't remember what the guy's name. Wait, let me look at my notes. What's the Denver's guy name again?
It's
Moss. Riley Moss.
Right, yeah, Riley Moss.
Him too.
Doing God's work.
They should finish 1-2 in the voting for making history. History. This is history in the defensive rookie of the year category.
So I'm thinking about it. Who won rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year when Quentin Nelson had his rookie year? Because if there was ever going to be an offensive lineman to win rookie of the year, it was going to be Quentin Nelson.
What year was that?
Was that 2017?
Something like that.
It was a 2018 season.
2018 season?
Because he was an All-Pro, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was.
He had 3 straight All-Pro seasons.
So Saquon,
three straight first team All-Pro seasons, followed by a second team All-Pro.
Yeah, Saquon won it, and that it
makes
sense because he had 2,000 yards that season, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
Yeah, that one it makes
2,000 scrimmage yards.
Yeah,
and Baker took second in the voting at the Browns.
Man, yeah. If there was ever going to be a season where an offensive lineman won rookie of the year, it was going to be that one.
Yeah, he got third,
but
which is honestly in itself impressive.
It'd be very anti-offensive line to win an award, though.
It really would.
You want
your old lineman being in the spotlight?
One offensive lineman being in the spotlight. That's really the thing. Yeah.
You want me to turn to Jason Kelsey out here throwing phones and calling people like, what are you doing?
Spiking phones. with
Can't wait for
authority.
You couldn't help it. You couldn't help yourself, could you?
Like Gronk in the
You
end
got
zone over there in
you
Penn
got to
State.
you
He's
got to
spiking that bitch.
you got to make my life so much harder.
Oh, just give it a little bleep.
Oh yeah, easy for you to say.
You
I
think
think
I
you
was
had.
gonna let?
I
You
think
think I
you
was
had
gonna let
seven.
one offensive lineman in the spotlight just walk by and that situation happen this weekend and not bring it up? I
Hey,
mean,
good for Penn State for really being on top of an investigation, though.
I just can't wait for this New Heights episode to come out this week with Travis Kelce having a career day, but they're gonna lead off with Jason Kelce spiking a phone. It is bullshit. ESPN made him apologize. He really didn't. He kind of said he was kind of sorry, but not really. Kind of like it was perfect. It was
I
Well,
perfect.
yeah,
just
they forced him to apologize.
I wouldn't really call it an apology for what he said. I never heard the words "I am sorry" for what he did.
I wouldn't be sorry, dude. That guy, it's just that thing with the internet. You can chirp all day over line. Why would you go say it to Jason Kelsey's face? That's
The
a dumb
craziest
person.
part,
You
the
deserve to lose your
craziest
phone.
part to me was that like he was an Eagle in Pennsylvania, and down the road at Penn State, we got people like bitching out about his brother. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I thought it was fair. I thought it was warranted.
Yeah, I
I couldn't believe it.
think the guy probably deserved more.
I agree. I agree. Wish it would have happened. Oh, Jason Kelsey just destroying some college kid would have been hilarious.
Would have been great. Give him, yeah.
All right, last back on track here, fellas. Here we go. All right, last one. We got one more. Let's get back on track here. One more. So, Coach of the Year. Now, this is an award that doesn't necessarily get a whole lot of pub, right? But I do think, I have been riding the Commanders for the entire season. All right,
He's in
don't
reverse cowgirl at this
hold
point.
it.
No, 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 no. I'm with you. I'm with you. Coach of the year, I look at one thing. I have one category if you're the coach of the year. I look at how your team was last year. I look at how they are this year. Dan Quinn wins the award. Congratulations. Noah's
No,
got a little. What are you gonna say,
what?
Noah?
What? What
I
little
just
innuendo
I
do you want to say here?
no, I'm good. I mean he's
Got it out of your system?
Dan Quinn is going to win this award,
I
but
want Dan Campbell to win it.
Dan Campbell should win this award every year he's a
He
football
should win it
coach.
every damn year.
And then also circling back to a different guy, can we talk about Mike Tomlin for this award with the stones of pulling Justin Fields at the time he did? That's
I
kind of
mean,
like that is
uh,
kind
uh,
of crazy.
that's
Could be
definitely
said. There's an argument for it.
that was definitely probably the hardest coaching move that a coach has had to make this year.
I mean
Easily.
I think that's like everybody even in his interviews after he did it and like he was right like after week one, everybody's still like talking about how it's probably not a good idea and he's just stuck by his guns. I respect that. He's not going to win the award, but I wish he could.
Yeah.
Wish he could.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think it's got to be Dan Quinn, especially with what Noah was talking about. What did your team look like last year? What do they look like this year? If you asked anyone if the Commanders were going to be leading the NFC East at the halfway mark in the season, don't think anyone was going to say yes. So, but here they are, sitting at 7-2, leading the division. So
Yeah, you got to give it to that guy.
get on the commies.
We are Commanders.
Also, before I forget, I did have an honorable mention for Defensive Player of the Year.
What you got?
I have Bryce Young because every time he steps onto a football field, the defense that's on that field gets better.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's start the prime time preview.
I feel like the comeback player of the year should be Bryce Young against the Saints because he looked like crap for however many weeks he comes back and wins the game.
That's actually Jesus. All right, that's actually a good point. We didn't talk about I didn't think about comeback player of the year.
I didn't think we were going to talk about it because it's just a joke of an award most of the
God,
time.
I
every
hate
year.
I cannot tell you the seething anger that award
That
brings
being
me.
said,
I mean,
congrats to Kirk Cousins.
It's true. Congrats, Kirk.
I mean, yeah. So
I mean, Joe Burrow,
yeah.
Maybe. Damar Hamlin is still on this list, by the way. People are wondering. He is fourth in the voting behind
Damar
J.K.
Hamlin is a perennial comeback player of the year.
How many times can you win comeback player of the year
It's like
in a
when you
row?
win the Masters, you get to keep on playing no matter what. That's Damar with comeback player of the year. He is always allowed to be in the voting.
Damar's gonna be giving out the comeback player of the year for years on end, like Arnold Palmer hitting the first tee shot at the Masters.
He won't even win it. It's going to be called the DeMar Hamlin Award.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Also, you could throw Kyler Murray in the conversation. DeMar beat death and these guys beat injuries, but it's up to you. Sam Darnold, throw him on there.
How are you about to go on a tangent about Damar Hamlin and then try to rein it back in like that? How are you going to do that?
Daniel Jones is on the
ease.
list, guys. I mean,
Oh,
if Anthony Richardson plays good the rest of the year, he could win it. Comeback player of the year midseason.
Yeah.
The first half, what was good the second half, you could win. You could win it. This award's a joke.
Oh, I hate that award.
Congrats,
this award
Kirk.
sucks. Kirk Cousins.
It's supposed to be like a feel-good award. Like, oh, this guy went through adversity. He was in the hospital. He almost died. And then they're like, Geno Smith, congratulations.
It was the easiest award to ever give out. It was the simplest award. Just there's no way. This is like, I don't even know. This is David and Goliath kind of situation. And DeMar Hamlin was Goliath for this award. And
Joe Flacco.
And Geno Smith and Joe Flacco are throwing stones at him, just seeing what hits. And man, they connected.
Just right in the chest.
Oh no, that's where he hit the guy. Is in the chest, and that's what you got to be careful with DeMar's chest. You know, it knocked out Tua. It almost killed him. It's just, it's a delicate subject.
So he knocked out Tua. Do you think they like infused him with adamantium like Wolverine?
There's a chance.
Might have been a Black Panther situation, just based on
they turned his shoulder pads into vibranium. Okay.
The DeMar Hamlin Wakanda Memorial Trophy. Give it to him every year.
Wakanda forever.
That's dumb. It's a dumb bit. God. I loved it though.
All right. That was good. That was good. I love this. I love this show. It's stupid, but I love it.
Dumbest show of all time. Second to Pat McAfee.
All right.
Okay, let's go into Thursday night football. We have a classic AFC North matchup between those Baltimore Ravens and them Cincinnati Bengals. The line, -6 for the Ravens. That's bullshit, and that's not going to happen. It'll never happen. That in an AFC North game, if I ever see a line like this, I'm like, what are we thinking? These boys are going to go out there and they're going to trade blows. They do it every time. That being said, give me the Ravens.
And the points are just money line.
We're doing just money line. This is a line I do not like.
I don't like this line at all.
No, no. I will never. I can't remember the last time I saw an AFC North game be.
When's the last time you turned on an AFC? Yeah, when's the last time you turned on an AFC North game and you didn't have fun?
And it didn't come down to most of the time the kicker.
It feels like every time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's a crazy line for an AFC North game. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow is only 4-5 against the Ravens. I was hoping that was going to be a better line. I looked it up hoping it was going to be like 6-1.
Yep.
Like 1-0 in the playoffs though, because that quarterback in purple can't win in the playoffs. But this I just don't know. Can this Bengals defense stop? Can anybody stop the Ravens? I don't know. I at this point
Trey Hendrickson leading the league in sacks.
True. At this point, I really want a Raven. I know this is way off topic. I want a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl with just 1 million points. Like that would just be points.
It would be really fun.
It'd be really fun. Lamar's never going to get them there, but it'd be really fun.
When you look at the Ravens, their offense is obviously superb, right? Lamar Jackson is third in the league in passing yards. He's up there. I think he's third in passing touchdowns. Then you have Derrick Henry, who's just running everybody over for 2,000 yards every year, right? Their biggest issue is on defense, and it is purely schematic. They got the guys. I mean, they got the dudes.
Oh yeah, of course they have the guys.
They have the dudes. Now, do those dudes need to catch more balls when they come their way?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, but they got the dudes. It's been purely schematic for them. And so they've lost, what were they, 6-3 now, right? Those 3 games. I mean, I feel like let me look up the Ravens schedule real quick because I do believe that in
They got
every game
Minshewed. I remember they got
they they,
Minshewed.
they did get Minshewed. I do believe
Started 0-2, I believe.
in every they have
It did.
scored no less. They have scored no less than 26 points every game so far this year. And those 3 losses that they lost back-to-back games to start the season. They lost 27-20, 26-23. Or excuse me, sorry, they've scored no less than 20 points in the game. All right, sorry. I just got Daltoned. I was looking at the stats wrong.
Yeah, dude, reading's hard.
That's tough. So they've scored no less than 20 points in a game. They've lost 27-20 to the Chiefs, 26-23 to Vegas, and they just lost 29-24 2 weeks ago to Cleveland. So I mean, scoring points is not their issue. If you take out those 3 games, they're almost averaging 40 points a game. So I mean, scoring points is not their issue. It's their defense. And the Bengals have been getting that offense has been getting a little better every week. They've been getting better every week. Joe Burrow is starting to torch guys, and I don't even think he had T Higgins last week.
Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns last week, and none of them went to Jamar Chase, and he looked pissed off the whole game. Like that guy was angry on the sideline the whole
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to look like the Joe Burrow we know, and the Bengals need this win so bad.
So
Like
bad.
if they
I
win
mean,
this game, it is just going to shoot them in a direction that's going to go straight up.
mm-hmm.
And then if you lose this game, it's kind of like I think if they lose this game, they can only lose like 2 or 3 games down the stretch.
Yep.
That's really not the situation you want to be in. I
No.
think it's a more desperate Bengals team than it is for the Ravens,
This
obviously.
Bengals team can really make a run after this game if they win
That's what
it.
I'm saying. If they win, they're going to go, they have a chance to go on a run and win the division.
Yeah, if they win, they're really like every game seems like they should definitely win except for those 2 Steelers games, and you just don't know what's going to happen those.
You can't,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the thing. AFC North, you just can't predict.
You can't.
Yep. I
Weird stuff
think this
happens.
is. I think the rest of this next half of the season is going to show us a lot of really what Joe Burrow is made of. I mean, we all know he's a good quarterback. We all know that his mindset is of a winner. But I think if he is able to will this team forward and make a playoff push, even I think that would be insane because he had a whole Tim Tebow moment during his press conference this last week, talking about how they basically need to win out for the rest of the year to be able to make the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what this Bengals team looks like. I think they're way better than they were, especially at the beginning of the season. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a good day. I just don't think they're going to do enough against the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are going to cover. I don't think, but I think Ravens are going to win, and they're going to give up a lot of points, but Ravens are going to win.
Joe Burrow just right now at this moment became my dark horse for her, the MVP. They win out the rest of the year. He keeps doing what he's doing. I can see it.
What are his
There's
what do his odds look like?
I probably not good, but he's got almost 2,300 yards, 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They get hot and he keeps doing this. I can see it.
Did you guys know that he had back-to-back 4,500 yard seasons with 34 and 35 touchdowns?
Joe Burrow's just been good.
He's been
And
good.
they kind of putter out. They do this thing where they're not good for half of the year, and then we just kind of forget, hey, Joe Burrow's still good at football.
He's plus 1,600 to win it right now, which can flip pretty quick, honestly.
quickly,
Yeah.
quickly, especially if they do exactly what
4 touchdown, 300, 400-yard game against the Ravens win.
that's gonna.
That'd do a lot for a guy.
I just put $10 on it.
Should put 20. I'll go halvesies.
Okay.
Putting our money where our mouth is. I like
20
it.
to win 340.
I like it.
That'll be good for us.
I like it. I like it. All
But
right,
make
so
it 30. AJ wants in.
It's too late. I already put it in. God.
Okay, Sunday Night Football. We got them Detroit Lions, them Houston Texans. This is
Ooh,
gonna
this
be a
is gonna be
fun
a good
game,
one.
guys.
That's
This
gonna
is
be.
gonna be a fun game.
The problem
I
is you really don't know what Texans you're usually getting.
No, and I kind of hate that,
I
but
I
do
hate
too,
it.
but they're good at home usually. And Will Anderson's a problem. And I'm very interested to see that matchup with the Detroit O line and Will Anderson because that guy's been a freak this year too.
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
get excited whenever I see Detroit's gonna be on the TV.
Isn't
I
I,
that
I,
fun?
love.
Isn't that funny how 5 years can make such a difference?
I think
You,
that I think that all those years of hardship have helped it. Like everyone has just become like we made fun of the Lions and they started to get good, and I think a lot of people became closet Lions fans. Like I
mm,
want to know how many people in this country that their teams aren't in the NFC North. How many people are not rooting for the Lions like every week?
mm,
It's got to be
mm.
a lot of people just love that team. God, they're so fun.
They're
Every
so
week
fun.
they just do fun stuff every week.
They
and
do
they're
they do
just
fun
so
stuff.
good.
They have fun players.
Yeah. Either they're playing in some close game that each team's scoring 35 or they're blowing a team out, but they're just having so much fun doing it.
They have David Montgomery throwing touchdown passes off a off a toss on the goal line.
Oh yeah.
They're throwing
Get
Just for
balls
Penny
to
fun's
Sewell
Taylor
sake.
out there,
Decker.
see what he's got in them.
They're throwing balls to Taylor Decker. They're putting Panay Sewell in motion. I mean, come
God, I
on.
just love
I
that
mean,
Lions
even their
team.
whole line is fun. No one ever talks about O lineman being fun. This whole line is fun for Detroit,
Oh
and that
yeah, no,
and
the
just like
line's
Noah
fun.
said, that matchup that I'm going to be watching is going to be Will Anderson against whichever tackle that he's going up against, and then I'll find the ball later. The camera will pan over to the ball. I'll find the ball later.
Jameer Gibbs is going to be running so fast down the field, and it's going to be great.
Who do you think is going to have more rushing yards, Jameer Gibbs or Joe Mixon?
Dark horse, David Montgomery.
That's another one. I love David
Probably,
Montgomery, man. I do.
probably
I
Joe
love him.
Mixon would be my guess. That guy's been untackleable this year.
And
Damian Pierce,
and,
where's he?
and he's been their bell cow.
Yeah. Damian Pierce is somewhere. I think he's on the Texans still.
He's
I
floating in the ether somewhere.
just kind of forgot he existed, you know? So did the Texans. They got Joe Mixon, shiny new toy. Who needs Damian Pierce?
Noah, what does
He's
NFL
got
stand
98
for?
yards this season.
Nice.
What do you say?
I said Noah, what does NFL stand for?
No fun league.
Other one.
National Football League.
Not for long. Damian Pierce.
That's true.
That's fair too.
It's
which
true.
I
which is
do think
unfortunate.
at some way the NFL is going to try to screw like I don't know if it's going to be this is conspiracy theory to the max. They're going to find a way to screw this Lions team. Whether it's going to be officiating, it's going to be there's going to be a heartbreak for Lions fans and
Well,
closet
they
Lions
had it
fans.
last year.
I was gonna say they had it in
Exactly.
the playoffs last year.
Oh,
And I think
I still think about that game sometimes.
I think
I'll
about
be at
that probably
work.
every
I'll be
other
at
week.
work, and I'll just be like, I'm gonna watch the highlights of that NFC Championship.
and then
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
think about that
and
every
like
other week.
especially with what they tried to do to the Cowboys and how they like really looked like try to embarrass them. I'm like, is the NFL gonna have a problem with this? Because I feel like that'd be the team they'd screw over is the one that messed with the Cowboys.
Mm.
But that being said, I'll take Detroit and the points because I love that football team and I love Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I think
Gosh,
I
that's gonna be a good handshake at the end of the game. D'Amico Ryans and Dan Campbell
that's
meeting at
gonna be good.
midfield. That's gonna be a good handshake.
We're gonna see a Donald Trump handshake out of one of those two.
I think I might take the Texans
I don't trust this Texans team after last
Texans
week.
to cover or Texans to win?
to cover. I don't think they'll win. Actually, I don't know. Give me the Lions in both.
I'm gonna have the Lions and cover. Even though I know
Yeah.
it's at Houston, I think if it wasn't at Houston, the line would be probably 5.5, maybe. But
It would be different.
yeah,
Ooh,
but I'm gonna take Detroit with a cover.
we got fun primetime games over unders. They're at 49.5 for this game. And then the next game, the Dolphins and the Rams, Rams minus 2.5. It is 50.5. So we got two high scoring games hopefully coming up here
I
in
think
these
we
two.
will.
Give me the under. Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams points. I think that I think I just still don't believe in this Dolphins team. I think that these Rams are about to be a problem.
This Rams team's looking like a problem.
The Rams, just like the Bengals, they're starting to heat up. They're starting to heat up pretty good. And
I
I agree with you, Dalton. I don't necessarily believe in Miami just yet, even with Tua coming back.
Yeah, I think that I just have to watch them more. I Miami's just I don't know if I'll ever believe in that team.
well, I mean, problem is, I think they're 2-6 right now, I believe, and they still got to go. I think they got to go play the Packers in like the middle of December, which there's no way they win that game in the cold. Like,
If
it's
I was
just,
Tua, I would fake another concussion and then not play the rest of the year if things go sour.
it's
What do you
just,
think?
it's tough being 2-6 right now, and like the Bills have basically won the AFC East already.
Well,
Like
yeah,
it feels like.
you're 2-6 in the AFC. You might as well move on to next season.
Or Noah, can we get a counter on how many wins we expect the Patriots to have at the end of the season? We were at
Four.
four last week.
I'm
We were
still
at
at
four
four.
last week. We're
Oh,
still
we're
at
holding at
four.
4.
We're holding. We're holding.
Holding at four.
I did think we would get the last one.
I was
Um,
gonna say even after the heartbreak, me and you were texting each other during that game. It was I felt the heartbreak with you.
yeah, that was a rough one. I mean, I don't I part of me thought at a time there was a way we beat the Rams. I don't think that anymore. Sneaky, I think again, Drake May, this is the problem. Drake May just gives me hope every week because he is so dang fun to watch. And I just forget we don't have receivers that can catch the football, and we don't have an O line that can block for him. And we sometimes have a defense that can stop the run, but unless it's overtime, they can't stop the run. Like Drake May is the only thing giving me hope, and Brandon Schooler being our special teams Matthew Slater part two. Like those are the only two things giving me hope. And it makes me think we can beat the Bears. The Bears defense is
I think you
great,
can beat the Bears.
but I feel like the Bears are -6, and I feel like that's an insult. I
I
feel
think
like
that
That's an insult.
Bears, Colts, and Cardinals should all be circled on.
I agree. I agree. I would love to win the Cardinals game because it would be hilarious to dash their playoff hopes that late in the season. Like I want them to stay in the race. So then I go to the game in Glendale and with Jackson next to me, shout out Groff. He is
Yep.
sad because the Patriots just ended their season. And like just like we did to the Jets already, I just want that. I just want to play spoiler. I don't care if we don't get the number one pick, we drop down because we win 4 games. I want to play spoiler to all these teams in the later half of the season. And I think that'd be fun. I enjoy that. I enjoy that. Never been in this world before. Don't know what to do. And the last 3 years or 4 years been a little rough trying to figure it out what sucking feels like. But I feel like we got our guy, and that guy gives me hope every week. And I'm
That's it.
holding at 4. I'm
That
holding at
that's
4.
that's a you know what? That's a great place to be in with so much despair and losing going on right now in New England. Having a guy that you feel confident in that can go in there and make it a competitive game, maybe even win the game. That's a good feeling. That's a good
It
feeling.
is. I
I remember
trust.
it was Blaine Gabbert for me. Thought he was going to be great in a 49ers jersey for a little bit.
I thought it was gonna be CJ Beathard.
That name was about to come out of my mouth as well.
I still
I thought that the CJ Beathard George Kittle connection was just going to be a problem for the league every year.
I'm still adamant that 1 year that Taysom Hill started at quarterback for the Saints, if they just kept him there, and they said screw it, and they left him in there, built the offense around him, around that guy, thought we could have won more games. But
I would
AJ, how
have.
did you feel about Michael Thomas going at Derek Carr on Twitter?
that's a rather interesting situation going on
It
there.
That
really
whole
is.
Twitter situation and game situation of what just happened and how this is just fell off a cliff is just shocking. I mean, it is crazy. I
I
was
mean,
I was looking through tweets today, going through everything that happened with the Saints organization, and it was nuts.
It
It
was
was
one of
nuts.
those where you see the tweet and you have to go click on and be like, oh, yeah, that is actually Michael Thomas that is tweeting that.
yes, that's
Same with
honestly that's kind of
Saunders
what I
or
thought.
whatever too. Same with
Yeah.
Saunders too. I
Yeah,
mean,
Saunders, yeah.
and then Cam Jordan getting dunked on by the line by JC Horn. That was tough.
Yeah.
It was
It
just there was nothing. There's no break that the Saints can catch right now,
was
and
tough.
It
That's
is
tough.
just somewhat unfortunate. I'm glad the Patriots spaced out their wins. They didn't get them in the first two games and then just fall off a cliff. I
Hey,
mean, that's a
hey,
nice part. I feel like the
I
Patriots
mean,
win like every 5 weeks. So I mean, there's at least one more in there. There's at least one more.
yeah, you know what? Me and you will always have week one. We will
We will
always have
have
week
week
one.
one. Undefeated in week one.
Undefeated in week one.
There was
But
never a doubt. Never a doubt.
and
Everyone knew the
then
Saints and the Patriots are starting 1-0.
9 games later, Saints are sitting pretty at 2-7.
Hey, right there
Seven
with you.
straight. 7 straight games.
Yeah. It's
It's
tough.
Oh,
it's just a tough feeling turning on your favorite NFL team every week and
And you're
just knowing what
hoping
you're
for
about to
something
watch.
different
You're
and you know
hoping
it's
for something. And then your brain, you realize like, hey, I can be happy for a little bit for a win, but we really needed to lose that for draft position.
I can't my problem is I can't get behind the like I want the like I will go into every Patriot game like I'll say on this podcast most of the time like yeah wouldn't be bad if we lost for a draft like I get that. But every time I watch this team, there's just something in my brain that says I want to win so freaking bad. And I
yeah,
just
there's
don't like I throw all that once that ball is kicked, it all goes out the window. And then if we lose, I'm like upset for a little bit. Then I'm like, we're number one on Tankathon again. It's just kind of it's just it's a
You
hard
know it's a
reality
rough
I can't get.
spot when you get so excited when there's a good player on your team because then you can watch them every week.
mm,
Yes. Yes. No. I
mm.
mean I feel lucky to have Drake May and Christian Gonzalez on this team.
Yeah.
There's someone fun to watch on both sides of the ball. And then yeah, but other than that, there's not much to look forward to.
I mean, there was a point in my life where I was like, I can watch Carlos Hyde run the football today.
What you
Okay,
forget about Carlos Hyde.
Dalton, I've been meaning to ask you this. I mean, I'm gonna need you to go back into your memory banks here. How do we feel about the Chip Kelly era of Niners football?
Oh, I can tell you. I knew, I knew he wasn't going to be a good coach for the Niners. I knew he wasn't a good NFL coach. But my little Niners brain and my little Oregon Ducks brain, the Oregon Ducks was talking to the Niners. They're like, all those years were so good. And the Niners brain was like, this team stinks. And that was a point. That was a point in my life where I obviously loved the 49ers. I did not expect anything from them. I knew Chip Kelly wasn't going to go turn that team around. But there's a little part of you that thinks that they might. Like until
I don't know why the Carlos Hyde mention really like sent me back to like 2014 or whatever that was, 2015.
oh yeah, there was a time where I was loading up Niners game being like Marquise Goodwin can run so fast. And that was just my whole and then George Kittle came on the scene. He had a good year and I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome." Then I was like, "He's a tight end. Not really going to help us." And then Kyle Shanahan came into my life.
Ooh, I got a good question for you.
Okay?
Would you rather would you rather have Kyle Shanahan as your
Or
coach or
Jim
Jim
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh?
Oh, it's a tough one. Jim Har Jim Harbaugh came in and won. And he won and he won and then he won 8 games and they got him out of the building. I will always, for the rest of my life, think of what if Jim Harbaugh and ownership didn't have problems and we kept that guy around. It was like when Jim Harbaugh left, it was like after all these years of this hurt and this loneliness and Mike Singletary being your head coach when you're a child, and then this 10 out of 10 blonde just comes in and loves you and no one has loved you like this and you're like I have this hot girl, she's awesome, and then you lose her. And there was a lot of years, all those years until Kyle Shanahan, until 2019 season, I was just sitting there thinking about Jim Harbaugh, missing Jim Harbaugh. I really couldn't tell you. This is a tough one in my mind. Jim Harbaugh was the first coach in the NFL to ever give me happiness, and Kyle Shanahan revived it. So I don't know. Is it your first love or is it the current love? Which one do you love more?
I feel like it's hard, It's like, do you go with it feels like in that situation, Jim Harbaugh's like your current girlfriend. Then you see your side piece walking in, and you're like, what do you do? You know?
Yeah, it's tough. I love both
Stuff.
of those guys. I don't know. I think you're getting a lot of the same things. I think that I don't have an answer. I've been sitting here trying to make an answer. I can't pick between those guys.
Noah,
I
who
should
is your
pick Kyle
favorite?
Shanahan.
Noah, who is your favorite Patriots coach?
Oh man. I'd have to go back to the Pete Carroll days, you
Oh,
know.
shut the.
It's definitely not Gerard Mayo. Tell you that.
I
Um,
will say I held on to Sean Payton as long as I could. I did. That man gave me happiness. Dalton, the happiness that you said Jim Harbaugh gave you, Sean Payton gave me that.
I
Oh
You want to know
do.
who
nine,
didn't
back in
give me
oh nine.
happiness? You want to know the one thing in my mind I still will never understand? The Niners took a guy, and it's been years. I could fact check this right now. I'm not going to. Jim Tomsula was driving buses before we let him be the head coach of our football team. I will never. That was one of the worst years of my life, and I don't remember what was happening. I just remember Jim Tomsula driving a spike of hurt into my heart every week and just being like, how is this guy a head coach? Why is he our head coach? Where do we get him? He was driving buses. Like, I think they just found a guy that was on a good football staff at one point in his life, and they gave him the keys.
Would you rather have him or Marty Morningwig?
I just Marty Morningweg all day. I'll listen to Marty talk about. I'll listen to Marty all day talk about just suck off whatever team the Grizz are playing over the 2-14 year that Jim Tomsula gave me.
I just like Jim Tomsula. He went 1-0 as an interim in 2010 for San Francisco.
That's the
And then
that's the only reason he was there.
and then and then he went 5-11
Uh,
in 2015.
I legitimately thought that the bad year was the Jim Tomsula year. 5-11 is almost worse. You can't suck as a head coach, get fired, and then leave us with a bad draft pick too.
Like, if you're gonna suck,
Oh,
just suck.
Ah, all right, boys. We got anything else before we end it? All right.
Chip Kelly was the 2-14 year. I got those two flipped up in my head. In
Would you
my
rather
head,
have
in my head, Jim Tomsula was
Was Chip
the
Kelly?
5-11 year, and yeah,
Would you
I
rather have Chip Kelly, like the 49ers Chip Kelly, or the Arizona Cardinals Cliff Kingsbury?
at least
Ooh, both just had
Give
the
me
same experience first
what
time
about
around.
what about the Philly Chip Kelly?
That was a fun team.
That'd be
yeah,
fun.
that wasn't too bad.
Uh,
He went 10-6, 10-6, and 6-9.
Yeah,
give
Riley
me
Cooper and the boys.
Yep. Riley Cooper and the boys. Jesus.
I know who he voted for today.
it is crazy that that Florida team was stacked with just dudes when he was there. He had Riley Cooper, Percy Harvin, Aaron Hernandez, the Pouncey brothers.
Tim Tebow, hello.
I was gonna say they were all led by this Christian guy with just the
Oh,
roughest backgrounds. He had
no,
Cam Newton stealing laptops. You had it all on that Florida team. That Netflix documentary they did not do it justice
no,
whatsoever.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They copped out on that, and maybe it's because they couldn't interview Aaron. Maybe that what's really held him back.
I went
But
through the 49ers draft history just because I wanted to make sure that Chip Kelly gave us Solomon Thomas and that was it. I think Chip
Stanford,
Kelly might be the worst, Stanford. And then I was just looking at all of these players that the Niners have drafted, and it just makes me so happy that John Lynch is
showed
there
up.
doing his thing. Like
John
this is
Lynch, if you
just this is crazy.
John Lynch, if you need a center.
John Lynch, if you need a we do. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jake Brendel is not. He's not cutting it. I'll tell you that guy stinks. The 49ers have had center issues
Since Alec Mack.
It's Alex
Alex
Mack.
Mack.
since Alex Mack. We had
Hey,
Weston Richburg from the Giants for a little bit. He was okay.
I'm free.
He's
Let me
free.
know. Let me know.
John, hit my line. Kyle, DM me, bruh.
I'm here. All right. Thanks for watching, y'all. That's always great getting back with the boys talking ball. So, see you next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, do all the things on YouTube that all these influencers say. We are not one of those. We're just a bunch of boys talking ball. So, see you next week.